Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are uncovering why an often overlooked mineral is, well, it's actually the ultimate biochemical manager of your entire body. We're talking about magnesium. And we're going to see why a lack of it might just be the hidden driver behind your daily stress, those frustrating sleepless nights, and even the way your body processes sugar. Okay, let's jump right into this. Over 600? Magnesium serves as a crucial cofactor for over 600 enzymatic reactions in the human body. That means 600 different fundamental processes literally rely on this single element just to function properly. It's the fourth most common mineral in your body, and yet our modern diets leave a massive portion of the population grossly deficient. I mean, think about it. When a manager this important goes missing, the whole factory just starts to break down.
So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll be looking at the master mineral, the metabolic vicious cycle, the stress and sleep loop, why are we deficient, and finally, fixing the deficit. We're going to move from the microscopic cellular level of your metabolism and brain right down to some highly practical supplement takeaways. All right, section 1, the master mineral. Let's define the stakes here and understand exactly what happens when our bodily reserves of this crucial element start running dry.
To really grasp the scale of this issue, we've got to look at our modern metabolic crisis. Globally, an estimated 500 million adults, 500 million people, are projected to have type 2 diabetes by 2030. That is a staggering number. And, while we usually just blame sugar and sitting around all day, researchers are actually finding that this crisis is incredibly closely linked to cellular deficiencies happening right beneath the surface. And this brings us to a really hidden danger: hypomagnesemia. Basically, this is a severe systemic deficit of magnesium, officially defined as a serum concentration of 0.75 millimoles per liter or less. But here's the truly shocking part. This condition is found in nearly 48% of type 2 diabetes cases. It's just hiding in plain sight, completely undiagnosed, but quietly accelerating all that metabolic dysfunction. Moving on to section 2, the metabolic vicious cycle. Let's look at the first biological trap and how a lack of magnesium literally locks us into a downward metabolic spiral. Think of your pancreatic beta cells like this highly coordinated domino effect. So when you eat, glucose enters the cell and creates ATP. That's your cellular energy. That ATP knocks over the next domino by closing specific electrical channels. This causes calcium to rush in, which physically pushes insulin out into your bloodstream. It's this beautiful, highly coordinated electrical and chemical dance. But here's where the whole thing kind of goes off the rails. Magnesium acts as the literal spark to reset this entire system. It has to bind to ATP to reopen those channels. Without it, well, the cellular doors basically get stuck in the closed position. The cell over-depolarizes, meaning it just stays excited for way too long, and you end up secreting too much baseline insulin. Over time, that basal hyperinsulinemia absolutely burns out your insulin receptors, leading straight to insulin resistance. And unfortunately, the cycle gets worse. This hyperinsulinemia triggers a really nasty inflammatory feedback loop. A lack of magnesium significantly spikes the production of specific pro-inflammatory cytokines, things like IL-1 beta, IL-6, and TNF-alpha. Think of these as biochemical alarm bells. Along with C-reactive protein, these inflammatory molecules actually block glucose transport into your tissues, which just makes your insulin resistance even worse. Your body is now totally locked in a vicious metabolic cycle. So we know how it wreaks havoc on our blood sugar, but what is a lack of magnesium doing to our brains? Let's move over to the nervous system and see how this builds into an entirely different but equally damaging vicious cycle. Because if magnesium is the manager of your metabolism, it is absolutely the bouncer for your brain. Section 3, the stress and sleep loop. Welcome to the neurological trap. This is exactly where stress depletes our reserves, and then those depleted reserves hypersensitize us to even more stress. Your nervous system is basically a constant balancing act between stress and calm, and magnesium, it's your brain's natural bouncer. When things get a little too chaotic, it steps right in to block the excitatory NMDA receptors to stop runaway stress and glutamate transmission. And at the exact same time, it enhances the calming GABA receptors to help you relax. It is literally physically calming your neural environment. But check out this vicious cycle. When you experience acute stress, your body forces magnesium out of your cells and into the extracellular fluid to buffer that stress response. Then, your kidneys see this excess floating around and just flush it away in your urine. The resulting systemic depletion leaves your neuroendocrine system so much more vulnerable to the next stressor. You become highly sensitive to stress, which then causes you to lose even more magnesium.
And man, this absolutely destroys your sleep architecture. If you've ever felt tired but wired, this is exactly why. Magnesium is the essential enzymatic cofactor needed to convert the amino acid tryptophan into serotonin and then all the way down into your sleep hormone melatonin. Without enough magnesium, that whole conversion just stalls out. You lose your circadian rhythm, and that poor sleep stresses the body out even more, feeding right back into that depletion loop.
So, Section 4, why are we deficient? We really have to ask the obvious question here. If this master mineral is so crucial for our blood sugar and our brains, why is this deficiency so incredibly common nowadays? Well, the answer lies right in our modern food supply. Shockingly, the refining and processing of modern food can strip away a massive 85% of its natural magnesium content. 85%. Even if you think you're eating super well, the soil depletion and intense food processing of the past century have drastically reduced the magnesium we actually consume compared to our ancestors. Our Western diets are just starved of it, often giving us less than half of the recommended daily allowance. But compounding this issue of low intake is high output. High blood sugar literally causes your kidneys to waste magnesium. Common blood pressure medications like loop and thiazide diuretics, they flush it out too. And as we just saw, chronic systemic stress pushes it right out of your cells. We are taking in way less and frankly throwing away way more. Section 5, fixing the deficit. Okay, let's transition from the problem to the solution. Because if you're thinking of just running out and grabbing any random bottle off the shelf, you really need to know that not all magnesium supplements are created equal. What's really fascinating here is how the specific forms dictate the actual benefit you'll get. Magnesium has to be bound to something to stabilize it. So if you want to calm your central nervous system and get better sleep, you want to choose highly bioavailable glycinate, because the glycine molecule itself is actually a relaxing neurotransmitter. If you want to soothe muscle cramps or maybe need some mild laxative support, choose citrate. But whatever you do, always avoid magnesium oxide. It's super cheap, it's everywhere, but it's incredibly poorly absorbed by the body. And getting the right bioavailable form is huge because more than 20% of your body's magnesium actually lives in your skeletal muscle. It acts as the direct antagonist to calcium. See, calcium makes your muscles contract, but magnesium makes them relax. By restoring your intracellular magnesium through these proper forms, it directly competes with that calcium, which finally allows your overstressed, cramped muscles to release and recover. Which brings us to our final thought for today. The human body is just remarkably interconnected. So the next time you experience a brutal sugar crash, or a totally sleepless night, or a random muscle cramp, ask yourself, are you just treating the surface symptom, or are you treating the vicious cellular cycle actually driving it? Breaking the cycle means restoring the master mineral that manages your entire biological foundation. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, here's to building a much more resilient you.